Hi, welcome to the Shen Den, where we are hanging out with the magical, mystical entities of Chinese medicine. They're gonna help us because it's a fucking week, okay? I'm not even gonna pretend like I'm some amazing alchemist and I'm just gonna sail through the next, okay? So if it feels big in my body, I'm sure it's feeling big in other folks' bodies. So I put together some Shen and some things we can do to activate them that is in alignment with Chinese medicine, and the whole purpose is to transform emotions and tone the organs. Let me set this up so I don't have to. I just switched to my iPad because I took TikTok off my flippin' phone. Ugh. How is everyone? What a day. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Did I sleep last night? No. Do I anticipate sleeping at all the next 4 years? Probably not. So anyway, let me see if I can get myself not completely in your face so you can see this. I know better than to take TikTok off my phone too, and I did it anyway. I was not thinking, friends. All right, I'm just gonna lean this back, and then I'm gonna lean back, and then you're gonna be able to see it. No. Dang it. Look at me. Okay. Anyway, the Shen are the mediators of chaos, which clearly I am having a moment. Let's see how this works. Hello, Maria the pet nanny. Let me know if the speaker on my computer, there, here we go. Darla and Norman, the nanny says hello. They're right next to me. The poor guys, okay? These poor kitty cats. I did not sleep much last night. I'm getting ready to email some physicists, but also, it's this week, right? And I've been looking at all of these nervous system regulation people talking about regulating my nervous system right now. I can't speak for you, okay? If I'm in a storm, if I'm trying to fucking surf the big waves, the last thing I'm going to do successfully is be precise, right? At the level of one pathway in the totality of the wholeness of the me, okay? And I'm supposed to be some kind of expert in this shit. So we're just gonna invoke the Shen. We're invoking the Shen, which is galactically aligned with Taoist alchemy, Chinese medicine, and physics. As you see here, I am saying that this warbly, wiggly, wormy, chaotic, complex, incredible landscape is a visualization of carbon nanotubes. That's how we're going to call it today. These are carbon nanotubes. These entities, okay, these are here to help. These ones we can like just directly hang out with and contemplate. These are auto magic. The sound that bridges is this inner child sound. Hi midnight. Okay? It can be a hiss today. Today, if you're, it can be that, okay? But typically we're just gonna, and the inner child, look at this, okay? That inner child lives in our pericardium, the cosmic ball sack of love. We're cosmic hacky sacking today. The cosmic ball sack of love is the thing that gives us the experience of inherent, of buoyancy and expansion on the inside. It gets contracted when we're stressed out. Back pain is crazy today. Dang it. Dang it. All that's bad for, look at my, oh my gosh. So anyway, I am going to acknowledge your pain. So the day is just, right, when I say that face, please do. I would love to see it. Or, you know, even better yet, post it publicly and tag me. I have absolutely no care about, like, looking good. This is TCM. This is alchemical Chinese medicine, though. So this is all of the alchemy and the myth and the magic culturally that became Chinese medicine. Does this prove God? If you wanted to, it can. The concept of deities and Taoism, Edgar, as I've been brought into it, is more immortal. This is a system that contemplates longevity, but not necessarily deity, godhood. Is the Tao God? Second question. It can be. It is for some people. For me, it's gravity. For my mother, it was art. For my brother, it's karate. My father was not Taoist. He didn't understand any of it. Yeah. So Taoism, just like at its most basic, is the part that is not the North or South Pole. It's the middle of the magnet. But the magnet is always a magnet. A magnet with a North and South Pole is always a magnet. We have a designer. I will say, Edgar, that I understand this image in particular as a visualization of the evolution of human. But there's no author other than there's an entity named Ming Po. She is the personification of the 200 million year old Chinese soft shell turtle. These are little organs: lungs, kidneys, liver, heart, and spleen. These are our yin organs, our major yin organs that the vagus nerve passes through. Each of these organs is paired with a yang organ. So the lungs are paired with the large intestine, but we don't worry about it, okay? We don't worry about the yang. That's auto magic. So the lungs and the large intestine, kidneys and bladder, liver and gallbladder, heart and small intestine, and your spleen and stomach. And then the circles have the elements that they're associated with. These are the 5 elements of Chinese medicine. All of these become our major meridian mappings, like the map with the lines that the acupuncturist uses. The Shen, these entities, I created the art. These are their actual names: Zhu, Po, Han, Shen, and Yi. These are the magical mysticals. They are like, if something is the letter of the law, the Shen are the spirit of the law. The Shen translates to spirit. From a neuroscience perspective, in your central nervous system, the Shen would be governing and managing the experience of the sensory motor cortex through the afferent and efferent pathways of our central nervous system. Afferent meaning sensory, efferent meaning motor. And somehow the Chinese figured out thousands and thousands of years ago that if you use a stand-in for other things, it's very much, this is fully binary code, Edgar, fully, 100%. And the Shen in the system that I designed, Edgar, the Shen are an object and method and category and a nomenclature for a new way of contemplating taxonomy so that we can get away from the data bias of the global slave trade. Immortality is attained according to Tao. It is difficult. This little nest here, there are several pathways, I should say. The one that I know is based on this little nest. It's called your Dantian, or your inner cauldron. And this is the location of the golden elixir, which Carl Jung wrote about in The Secret of the Golden Flower. The golden elixir is Taoism for the philosopher's stone. And practitioners of neidan, which is the system I'm bringing you into, it's called inner alchemy. Practitioners go through a series, a logic cycle of refining energy from the base to the crown, and refining in alignment with the virtues and the mechanics of Chinese medicine, only it's fully without any props. You do it on the inside. And these breaths that I'm showing here are the first set of practices to do that. So when you do these breaths, the plus sign is your inhale, the negative sign is your exhale. This is the sound that you make. And when we do that, what we're doing is like tending to the atmosphere around the inner child here on the star bridge. Atmosphere, okay? Not like the actual literal pericardium and heart. But then when we're like hanging out with the atmosphere, we have an experience of changes in the density of how we're understanding our bodies, as well as we might have more language. I need to get a tissue. I do want to share that if you go up to the thing up there and you do that, you know, the first set of links you would have to pay, but if you go down just a little bit, there's a whole bunch of free resources. So there's a translation of this, and everything of mine free. Anything you always will get at a minimum flashcards with explanations of this, so you can take it and go and run with it, and you never have to give me money. Okay, I need money, but I am not permitted to create that kind of a barrier for you to access this information. It's just not how it's done. Yeah, please do. So this all happened, friends, because the first time, okay, for Hair de Mort 1.0, I got to have breast cancer all by myself at the height of the pandemic. I don't recommend it. It was not fun. Stage 3 breast cancer treatment. I used this yoga to survive, and like licensed medical professionals. But as far as just like tending to my own body during the height of the pandemic, while having breast cancer and resolving a midbrain stroke, this is the framework that got me through, not the polyvagal theory, nervous system regulation science that I've been studying for 20 years, and very much not any form of psychotherapy that I'm trained in, including family systems, internal family systems. None of those worked. In fact, if I tried to regulate my nervous system through my cancer during COVID, I would have died. And so I'm feeling a little, this is just me, I'm feeling a little bit like motivated, okay, to share this so you can add it to what you're doing. So that you can have anger, and you don't need to know what it's about. You can just be angry if you are. Shh. Just lets it out. Shh. Also, you don't have to count your breath. Okay, you know how they tell us to do the breathing? Thank you, Midnight. And then it goes, breathe in. I have been in this framework since I was 11. I have been studying with Bessel van der Kolk, who wrote The Body Keeps the Score, Peter Levine, who is Waking the Tiger, and Stephen Porges, who invented polyvagal theory. I've been studying with them for about 15, 20 years. Their science doesn't work. It measures what's happening, but it's not practical for how are you and I going to navigate a storm if all of the tools that we're given assume it has passed. The whole concept of post-traumatic stress, P-traumatic stress. I am in traumatic stress right now, okay? I'm like fully aware I'm in a functional freeze. If I try to override, this is, and I'm telling you this like genuinely as a psycholinguistics practice, activity. If you and I try to override what's auto magic, what our body is going to do anyway, if we try to be bigger than the genuine fucking threat, okay, this is a genuine threat. This isn't something, a scary movie. We can't be bigger than that. It cannot be done. Does that mean that just knowing that and recognizing that, oh, it makes so much sense? Yeah. This is one of the biggest issues with the skinny white yoga chick, frankly, as I am as well. Why calm? Why is calm? Because I messed up. Thank you. Calm and shock are backwards. I fucked up. Thank you for noticing that. Oops. Isn't that interesting? What a fascinating place for me to make that error as well. Yeah, so I really could just like go off on all of the Western medicine and everything, but truthfully, Canva, not Photoshop, I'm not that smart. Truthfully, it's better just to like hang out in this realm. If you want to have like a way to like, where is the vagus nerve? Your vagus nerve is here. So this pagoda, this like, it looks like a little tower. It's called the 12-storied pagoda. 12 cranial nerves, 12 stories in the pagoda. The first cranial nerve, the very top of the pagoda, corresponds to our olfactory nerve, which is here as the moon. That aligns with our lungs. And just the process of respiration. Think amygdala, think like lizard brain, right? Like really old ancient brain. And the Po, as an embodiment of metal, first of all, where else have you seen metal in alchemy? We don't have ether, we have metal. We have metal in the same way that birds know how to build a nest. We have metal in the same way that our brains can constantly grow and change through the process of neuroplasticity. TCM positions those kinds of structures and processes primarily through metal and wood. Iron in our blood. Yeah, very much. And also just magnetism in general, right, Midnight? What's keeping us down on the ground? How come we're not floating away? Here in the quantum realm, it's illustrated with yin and yang as fraternal twins. But they're also our feet. Quantum is a newer concept since the ancients did not know of quantum. The ancients did, however, very elegantly parse Newtonian classic relativity, or Newtonian relative and quantum concepts. They just didn't have those words for them. So the Shen are quantum, Qi is relative, Qi, energy, light, force, and then there's a energy called Jing, J-I-N-G, which operates through Newtonian principles. And I uncovered all of that by wanting to bring this transparently forward and not situate it in anything Western. So it had to become physics. And I just never thought of myself as like a real physicist because I don't do math. I'm an alchemist. And I never understood that quantum and astrophysics operate the same way if you don't have a third dimension, if there's nothing physical involved. Meaning, neidan is a cellular process that occurs in darkness. It's not the same as shadow work. It's about tuning to the mitochondria in our DNA. The mitochondrial process, like the what's it called? The powerhouse of the cell. And neidan, which is this yoga, is based on a constellation called the Summer Constellation, and the stars Vega and Altair, which turn into the Weaver as Vega and the Oxherd as Altair. Vega, Altair, and then there's this third star named Deneb, okay? Some people think that that's the alignment of the pyramids of Giza. And based on when the pyramids were built and when China began, to the best of my knowledge, I'm not an Egyptologist, but to the best of my knowledge, I've been in this realm for decades, and it is my yoga. And there is a form, a very, very, very obscure form of meditation in Taoism that translates to oblivion, sitting in oblivion, which I have been practicing without knowing it since I was 11. And the sitting in oblivion is sitting as though you're suspended, as though you're superpositioned from a physics perspective, in that it's a layered awareness. Because the Shen, okay, they're like they're catalysts. It's very inherent for me, yeah. My mother put the Tao Te Ching in front of me when I was 11. A couple years later, I discovered Friedrich Capra's The Turning Point. He's a physicist. And around that time, I first read Douglas Hofstadter, who is also a physicist and a cognitive scientist. So I've been attuned to this for 40 years. Holy fuck, I'm 55. It's been like, it's forever. My mother had a PhD in this. It's just, yeah, we're weird. I'm strange. But now you get to be weird with me, and look. Okay, I don't know where my feelings are, friends. I don't know. I don't even know what a feeling is. Does anybody have that experience? If somebody says, what do you feel? And I'm like, where do you feel that? F if I know. I know right where my heart is. I know right where it is. I know precisely where my liver is. I can look up in a book. I can attend classes with medical doctors to understand this as connective tissue, as fascia, which is what I've been doing for about 20 years, studying with doctors who contemplate fascia as a sense organ that is alive, not as the crap you need to cut through to get to the good stuff, which is how doctors are trained. Who were those authors? Bessel van der Kolk. He wrote The Body Keeps the Score. Is that who you're talking about? The folks I'm not... And then the big narrative, look how sorry, I'm just very like dry. We're having a 1 degree week here. So it's Bessel van der Kolk. He's a psychiatrist. He coined the term post-traumatic stress after working with Vietnam vets. He's been working with veterans in clinical settings. Stephen Porges, Dr. Stephen Porges, wrote polyvagal theory. I will tell you in a moment, MM. And then Peter Levine, he's actually, I think he's the best teacher out of all of them. Peter has a protocol called Sounds True, which oscillates the inner ear. Taoism's perspective on sex is that the orgasm, the big O, is the most healing and potent energy a human can experience. These practices in particular are about alchemizing and becoming adept at managing our own arousal response to stimuli, internal or external. The physicists are Friedrich Capra. Friedrich Capra wrote, he's a new book out called A Systems View of Life, where he's talking about open biologic systems. Friedrich Capra wrote a book called The Tao of Physics. And the book I met him through was called The Turning Point. The second physicist I mentioned is Douglas Hofstadter. Douglas Hofstadter won a Pulitzer Prize for his work Gödel, Escher, Bach. I go by Zitterbart, Escher, Bach. I just don't do the math. I spent most of yesterday drafting a letter to Douglas Hofstadter to share this with him. I haven't sent it yet though, because I didn't sleep, and then I don't want to send anything when I haven't slept. I only slept for like 4 hours last night. That's not enough for me. I'm also, friends, reaching out to the world's leading scholar in all of this, Douglas Hofstadter. Douglas Hofstadter wrote Gödel, Escher, Bach. He won the Pulitzer Prize for it in the 1990s. He's a cognitive scientist and data scientist. If you would like a third to look at, Edward Tufte, T-U-F-T-E. He's at Princeton. Tufte is a data scientist, big data, and he operates through tensegrity. He taught me design. He's one of the world's leading governments go to him. And wouldn't you know, Taoist alchemy operates through tensegrity as well. Tensegrity is the geometry of a geodesic dome. Is that the sounds we're supposed to make? Yeah. So you smile to the organ. You breathe in the positive. You breathe out the negative. Protect my findings. Oh, don't worry about it. I'm not worried about it. Oh, pick it up, read it. Oh my gosh, Hofstadter, listen. I just skipped the math. And so when I was putting all this together, Gödel, Hofstadter used Gödel. I guess Gödel has a lot of equations that don't make sense. Again, I don't do math, okay? whatever. MC Escher for how Escher understands the horizon, right? And then how his manipulation of perception, and also how we would contemplate ourselves in the dimension that he shows us. I grew up with Escher all around me. And then Bach, Gödel Escher Bach, as in Johann Sebastian Bach. I am a classically trained musician who's the child of classically trained musicians. My father was a professor at CMU. Hofstadter used Bach specifically because of the fugue, Data Doc. The fugue, the suspended animation, the treading water. And Edward Tufte, who taught me design, always opens with a visualization of music. And sheet music is strings, particles, and waves. So when we play music from sheet music, we're playing particles and waves. We're playing with dimension. It's very amazing. Truly, I don't think this would have become clear to me had I not had a stroke. There very likely was one of those, I probably had like some sort of stroke of, and then my certain aspects of my acuity got really strong and others got really not strong. Yeah. So Gödel Escher Bach becomes Zitterbart Escher Bach, where Zitterbart is me doing art and making shit up and having fun and not claiming that I can like heal a human with my thoughts and not turning you and me into 5D crystalline entities that aren't even human, but rather the most human that we can be, which is wounded, mushy, entropic meat sacks. You do work with the flow state. Good. Nice. So all of these again, when you tone these organs, you're like toning the zone, the middle zone. But look how you can see, like, that's a whole person. You can see a human if you want, from seat to head, from the bum, that's the perineum, all the way up to the crown. Before anybody asks, this does not show you the chakras. However, if you want to contemplate the chakras, you'll contemplate them straight up the middle here. Straight up the middle. This is one fertile female. One fertile female. And so what this shows is 3 generations of human. This is a tool to contemplate something called epigenetics. Epigenetics is what happens when events occur within a species or within a population, and the expression of genes change, but the genes themselves do not. Some people contemplate epigenetic as a whole function of it's only a chemical thing. I come to epigenetics through culture. That's my training. And that's like neuroscience stuff. So this chart, Bruce Lipton. Oh, I don't know who that is, but that name sounds familiar. Bruce Lipton. Why do I? Hello. Bruce Lipton. He coined the term what? What did he? Oh, epigenetics. Thank you. Didn't know that. Just know the discipline. This is China. This is all China. This is pre-dynastic China, and then it turns into dynastic China based on the China, based on the ancient, based on the artifact or the text. Oh, you're so welcome. What? How is this China? This is the 5 phases. These are the 5 elements of Chinese medicine that become acupuncture. This is called the Neidan 2. It's translated as the inner warp or inner landscape. It visualizes our connective tissue, immune system, and connection to cosmos, genetic, and cultural lines. The visual on the right relates to the inner child because of the inner child right here at the heart. See? He's fishing with the whole Big Dipper. This is called the Star Bridge. So all of the toning that we do with our organs is to create a proper environment for our wounds to heal. And as it relates to the experience of psycho-emotional pain, very much. As it relates to the experience of psycho-emotional pain and generational inherited trauma, that is corrected extraordinary. We can correct it through extraordinary, meaning here's our emotional landscape. Here's our, I'm in it. I had cancer, you have heart disease, you would, blah, blah. Here is the connection to whatever I've inherited, but also to whatever is possible. And that occurs at the heart. And this is the Mobius of infinity of a human. So if this was a chart, this would be the x-axis, this would be the y-axis, and the inner child would be at the z-axis. Isn't this cool? This is called neidan, N-E-I-D-A-N. It's also Chinese medicine and divination, bagua, feng shui. There's a little bit of everything in this. But as it relates to just like having a body, these are the organs. This is the experience of having organs. Oh, I'm so happy that you enjoy this. Divination you know of, good. Yeah. The source of all of this is feminine, divine masculine. When I was having my stroke, okay, I was just like watching my body fail. It was really messed up. And I had a whole vision, divine masculine. I never see anything. The northern lights came on, the angels sang, and it came through, you are being initiated into a feminine wisdom stream. To which I responded, it is impossible. I'm Taoist. I cannot be initiated. And I was like, this is going to be a fun stroke. And as it turns out, I was being initiated into this specific stream here. The feminine factor in Chinese medicine. The NDE really makes a big difference. I was already a practitioner at every level of this chart in alignment with any scope of practice that I would have, like professionally or alchemically. So I feel like I was just rewarded. I was just being a good student, and then I got to have the golden elixir experience, which is alchemical pregnancy and birth. I didn't try, but I came out of it understanding Newtonian quantum and relative physics. So the Chinese medicine, all of this is. So these elements correspond to organs. This is related to Tai Chi, but this is not Tai Chi. This would be more Qigong. Tai Chi is a more external thing. Qigong is more internal. Also, I am not instructing Tai Chi or Qigong in that my attunement is very much to the alchemy. And then all of the somatics are just very, very practical yin-leaning somatics. Yeah. Hi, do you want to say hi to folks? This is Norman. He's the handsome Bo Bansom. Can I just pretend like you're a little baby? He always wants to sit outside in the hallway, and he tries to get into the other apartments. My downstairs neighbor is a gamer, and they have people over a lot, and then he'll go outside and he just sits. It's so cute, huh? Yeah, you want to do it all the time. All the time. You wake up and you say, oh, I want to do that. And why don't you make me do that? He wants to see. He does. He really does. Do I do telekinesis? Which one is telekinesis? No. No, I don't do any. I don't do parlor tricks. I survived something impossible. That's enough. The stroke should have killed me, and then I survived aggressive cancer treatment by myself at the height of the pandemic. Magic is done. Keeping it practical. Yeah. Why would I need to? I don't feel a need to be able to move objects with my mind. I feel a desire to continue to exist towards that, yeah. Neidan is very, very like work collection. Any book recommend? I was just going to say there are different schools of Taoism, yeah. Very much. There are, I'm essentially establishing something, which is why I have to call some academics to make sure I'm not being a total asshole by putting my name on it. Very excited to do that. I've been an academic long enough. But the books I would recommend, there is a book called A Taoist Guide to Practical Living. I've started publishing over on Substack and YouTube. I have a 300-page document now. I put my notes together this week. Holy shit. I've identified, I've measured, I have built all of the 11 dimensions of M theory fully in alignment with string theory and quantum relative Newtonian physics. The YouTube channel is Zitterbart Escherbach, one word. Substack is similar, the same. Substack is mostly free. And then I have a free like starter pack just for the practical somatics. There's a $30 media library I put together that has lectures, slides, exercises, guided exercises. Substack is a blogging platform. It's for writing. It is a place where the academics are. Substack. Yeah. Something new. Well, good. Oh my gosh, my lips are so dry. Let me teach you sense of bum. This is my grand contribution to the world of somatics. The one thing. Sense of bum. Sense of bum is when you and I connect down to whatever we're on. Not whatever we're in, but what we're on. How do I pronounce the O's? Woo. Like wind in the trees. And again, you're not counting how long. So the pattern is to smile to the organ on the inside, smiling to my lungs, gather, and then direct. So we gather the courage, direct the grief, gather the calm, I got it backwards, direct the shock. I bet you do make the sounds without thinking about it. Yeah. These sounds, all of this, these are like, this is very much like a card game in that anything fire has other associations. There is a sense organ, it has a flavor, a taste, a season, a fucking immortal, a earthly whatever, a dragon. There are tons and tons of associations. Meditation, medication. And so you and I get to figure out how we want to be in relationship with this. I do the best literal, heart, liver, kidney, spleen, just give it to me directly. I know folks who are so attuned to the colors that they've made, like, it's very related to Tai Chi. This is Qigong, organ Qigong. These folks will like create different gradients of rainbow for different like experiences. The kidney beans, yeah. I actually use a can of beans as the primary visualization of the Neidan 2 in the third dimension. The Neidan 2 is a representation of the metal element in action in Chinese medicine. You did the shh. So back to the sexy fun time, okay? You do all of these. There's a practice called the microcosmic orbit, which is in the thing. So for liver healing, you do this sound, yeah. I am not saying it's gonna fix your liver. I will share, like I had a client who was getting her gallbladder out and it helped her with that. All of this is good for reproductive health. Then there are a set of practices that are associated with a goddess called the White Tigress, who is the white tiger from Kung Fu Panda. Hello, oh my goodness me. The White Tigress, okay, she's the one who controls the dragon, okay? The dragon's the peen, the tiger's vagine. The tiger is in charge of the peen. This is about controlling the peen, controlling the expulsion of the peen, I should say. I have to be careful what I say. So this is these teachings, the tantric teachings, are meant and openly written to attune men to the experience of having a uterus. And Carl Jung turned it into the fucking shadow. What a jerk. Dragon, yes. There are ranks of dragon. A 5-toed dragon is considered an imperial dragon. 5-toed dragon will have all of these represented. A 4-toed dragon is a practical dragon of some sort. A 4-toed dragon does not have earth. 4-toed dragon has these elements. And a 3-toed dragon has earth, water, and fire. And the 3-toed dragons are considered less, we want the 5-toed dragons. Gentle and nice. The dragons, I believe, are representing, do you see these lines here? This is the generation and restriction, that governing and conception. Thank you. Conception and governing vessels is what they're called. The conception vessel maps to pregnancy, and the governing vessel maps to the peen. And the whole purpose of this the alchemy is to reconnect this energetic pathway so that we have a remembered experience subtly of the buoyancy of gestation, very much. So this is balancing into the inner ear. The vestibulocochlear nerve is the 8th nerve. It's the nerve of infinity. The trigeminal nerve is the nerve of existence because it has 3 main branches. And we are beings of 3 dimensions. The trigeminal nerve, by the way, maps directly to the inner child. No, this picture is one fertile female. It's for everybody. The inner ear. Yep. We are all the same. No, we're not. This actually says very clearly that the lived experience is very diverse. Yeah, we are all energy. In sign language, the circle represents ing, prolapse. Prolapse is a factor of fascia down here. So this is your perineum. Okay, this is your tailbone. This is your spinal column. Do you see there's like the implied stream? And you see how it has like little stations on it? These are written similarly to how the stations on the Great Wall look, if you look at the Great Wall of China. And she is weaving silk. She's the Silk Road, the weaver. This is the Yellow Emperor's wife. She invented silk. She discovered silk. The Yellow Emperor, as the earth element, is the human who invented Chinese culture. He invented all the things. We're not sure he existed. He probably didn't. Weaver does transform energy very much. Yep, pain in the neck right here. So the simple thing to do is to smile to the pain. And then just to breathe. Circles and spirals, very much. Cones. Yeah. And perspective, right? Like a spiral, a coil can look like a circle until it's expanded and then you see it as a coil. This is a standard medical chart from acupuncture. I made this art and determined the palette, though the art and the palette are based on Chinese medicine. I just don't want to use other people's work. So I made a new visual language and everything. Jesus is the only thing with power, motherfucker. That's right. Jesus is the result of one of these experiences. He's a divine birth. You have had vertigo and inner ear issues. I don't know what that means. I will tell you that where it occurs is in this junction here. Do you see how much machinery there is? Do you see how these two, that's the sun and the moon. This here is the roof of your mouth. If you bring the tip of your tongue to that ridge behind your upper teeth, like right where the moon is, and then smile, and it's almost like there's no force in your tongue, but it's like you're lifting a little. That's going to encourage salivation, which you can see here. There's a little stream. And it brings just some like different pressure into this area, because in our evolution, we used to have gills here. This used to be where we breathe, right? The fish breathe out of gills. We breathe out of lungs. Yeah, you are salivating. You might actually start like farting and burping too. You are encouraged to fart and burp in this system. Try not to clear a room with the farts though, right? It's very practical. Bodies are very practical, or at least that's how they are for me. So the weaver, she is one way to contemplate autoimmunity, the autoimmune system. My weaver thinks that I got a problem right here. She keeps attacking my flippin' thyroid. My weaver keeps thinking that my stomach, my gut is an issue. It could be. I don't know what your pain is. But isn't this an amazing way to do, what's it called? Like body stuff? Anatomy. Oh, Lord. I really didn't sleep much last night. Feels sensitive when you push. Lost your mother postpartum. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's do the 6 healing sounds. So we're going to start with sense of bum, and then I'll guide you through the sounds. Sense of bum is to connect to the fact that you have an ass, okay? Not that you are one, that you have one. What are you on? And then smile. Going to encourage you to look at the being here. Look at this. Do you see how there's 2 eyes and a little smile right there? And look, there's Buddha going all the way up to nirvana. Buddha is also like an orangutan. So he's very much about like the nice easiness of the reach. This whole upper zone is called the Crystal Palace. Crystal. Wow. Then this middle zone here is called the Crimson Palace, where our heart is. So you can smile down towards that area. Now you're activating, oh, now the inner child's like, oh, thank you. And the weaver's getting ready. She's gonna do what she needs to. We don't need to ask her. And then the 3rd zone is this bottom zone here. This is your perineum, your gut. This is where we feel all the grossness. So we're just gonna smile down to that area. To do the sounds, smile either to the entity or the organ or the color. Just smile to something. If you want to smile to the organ on the inside, you can. Smile to your lungs. On the inhale, imagine courage coming in. And on the exhale, grief goes out with S. Right? So you're inhaling courage and exhaling grief. You do not need to try to feel those feelings. It's the cognitive process connected to the somatic. And then because it's directed at your organ, that's what makes it somatic. Okay? Kidneys are way down in your lower back. On this chart here, they're called the gate of life. Kidneys are the storehouse. They store our most vital energy, and they are aligned with our adrenal glands, right? So this is the experience of adrenaline. The emotions are shock and calm, and the sound is CHO. So you smile to kidneys, imagine blue. We've got this. It doesn't matter. Energy body is always, always, always intact, and this supports that in my experience. Smile as though you have two. Or smile towards the space where there used to be one. The inhale is calm and the exhale is shock. I messed that up. Right, so the next organ is your liver. And that's the Hun, as in like Attila and the Huns, like truly raw, okay? The Hun, this is like earthly, corporeal soul, he's called. The experiences, the emotions are anger and forgiveness, and that's the sound shush. Shh. Shh. So you just like chill. In the neidan too, this is your liver, this whole landing. Shh. Then you go to your heart, the actual beating muscle, okay? Not the idea, the beating muscle in your chest, called Shen. So there's a category of Shen, and then there's like Shen, kind of like a Xerox machine, and a machine that's a Xerox brand. This is the like, she's like the leader of the pack of the organ Shen, and relates to like how our spirit is somatically. You're very welcome. So those paired emotions, love on the inside, joy and love, hate as you exhale, ha. Inner child, yeah. And then the last organ, you might be thinking it should be your stomach, but it's the spleen. Our stomach is so flippin' active. The spleen is full all the time. So we're gonna go to the spleen because it has density. And if we have density, a dense experience on the inside, that can help with this experience of grounding and anchoring to the earth rather than like freaking out and just being up in the air. The sound is who, W-H-O. I don't have to verify. Why do people use quantum woo-woo? I'm not using quantum woo-woo. I'm saying very precisely that this mirrors Penrose's model of quantum nanotubes, and that the Shen transverse Newtonian quantum and relative physics. I'm actually writing a letter to Douglas Hofstadter and Friedhof Capra right now. Mr. Wolf. Go figure. I never would have said it myself, but this is due to the nature of water, not the nature of light. This is one of the problems that physics has. Genuine problems. They're measuring experience through light, which is much faster than we are as humans. We're entropically bound to the earth, and if the universe is constantly expanding, any perception that we have is rooted in decay. This is a major factor in the waveform collapse. So thank you for noting that the woo-woo is messed up with science. This is very much not. You know, the science, so what I've done is I placed the science on the myth, because I have a friend who's a neuroscientist who thinks I don't understand physics. I think she doesn't understand her own fucking corpus callosum. She doesn't contemplate the brain practically, she contemplates the brain chemically. And this is a factor of the success of something called a corpus callostomy, where they cut the corpus callosum in people who experience epilepsy and seizures. And that has made some neuroscientists decide that the corpus callosum is immaterial to research. If we didn't have planes and satellites, maybe, but we're dimensional now. Our perception of the universe as it relates to the scale that we are is out of balance. This is fascia, 100%. This is fascia. And fascia has the same architecture as the universe because fascia is a tensegrity structure, and 100% of the models based on relativity, not Newtonian, relativity. 100% of those models are tensegrity models, at least the ones that I've bothered to look at. I personally think one of the main constraints that physics has is nobody in the sciences contemplates tissue as alive. We're only contemplating, and like the whole fucking, the waveform oscillation contemplation obligates this y-axis to be solid when it itself is oscillating. There's no such thing as a sine and a cosine wave if I can get oscillations in my y-axis. I'm just going to have waves, not sine and cosine. You probably haven't seen this before. To my awareness, I'm the only person that is doing it this way. Fascia, yep. Bones, body. Hydro, sure. Yeah. That sounds good. The matrix is fascia. We cannot escape it, by the way. There's no escaping the matrix. Can you give you a rundown? This is Chinese medicine, Taoist alchemy, consciousness, and the fact that we are in a storm, Chloe. The earth, the fucking LA's on fire. We're in Herdomore 2.0, and I personally do not think I can regulate my nervous system through that. I would rather resonate. I understand this as opera and music. I do have a background in music. I also have a background in other things. How can you stay in the present moment? That's a good question. It's a really good question. Resonate over regulate. Frequency and sound is a way to experience the matrix. There are many matrices, by the way, in that, oh, you're so welcome. Please go find me on the places, especially the fucking YouTubes, so that I can exist if this goes away. I need to go grab some food. I will be back in a moment. Actually, no, I can take you with me. The world is busy for humans. We need to get back. We need to definitely look for the laws of nature and the laws of the universe. Oh my goodness me. So accurate. I am not a spaceship. Okay? Just because I can see the earth from the moon doesn't mean I comprehend it. I'm just a little flippin' ant on a hill, right? So there's so much scale in this, because this is a microscope and a telescope, but not a stethoscope. Stethoscope is just you and me hanging out. Okay, what am I eating? Oh, shit. My disdain of grocery shopping appears to be catching up with me, friends. I must thaw fish. Slow down and move away from ideas of raising vibrations and towards ideas of lengthening towards the horizon. So like this would attune much more to theta and like the Schumann resonance than it would attune to something like 500 hertz or 432 hertz or 440 hertz if we're like doing the whole sacred sound thing. This is tuned to the oscillations of the brain. That's how we experience different cognitive states, is through oscillation. We can do it other ways too, but vibration is the easiest. I have fish squares, yeah. Oh, I have a pizza. I'm so good to me. Oh no, it's spanakopita, just as good. Just as good. Movement in the body is frequency in motion. Slow down. The world is busy. It's also unfavorable right now. Like, so many of us are just caught in a storm now, right? And again, if we try to regulate our nervous system while we're experiencing this, we are fighting it. And sometimes that's a good idea, and sometimes it's not. I cannot say whether it is for you, but I do very much want you to have other tools besides dialectic therapy, cognitive therapy, writing down all of your sorrows and woes in a journal and labeling all of the horrible things your parents did. I mean, like all the shadow work right now. Man, you guys are ballsy to do that. I would be doing dark work. This occurs in the darkness. This occurs in the absence of light, not because light has been blocked. So this is yin. This is like the yin realm, the immeasurable. Yin is aligned to dark matter in the quantum models. Plasma. Also time crystals, which are even more complex than plasma. I didn't know about time crystals, but I know about my crystal palace. Yep, plasma. So one way to relate to the Shen is as though they are the sentient plasmoids that people keep threatening you with. And that would be in alignment with the spirit of how these are contemplated. Much more so than it would be if you and I were to say something like, I have control over plasma and now I can, like, that's not how it works. All right. Plasma, plasma. The fourth state of matter is plasma. Solid, liquid, gas, plasma. Jing, Shen, Qi. Plasma. So basically what I did was I just feng shuied Western medicine in favor of human. And what happened with that, the stuff I said in Chinese, those are different ways of describing energy states. Jing, J-I-N-G, Qi, C-H-I, Shen, S-H-E-N. Yes, it does. This is the pathway of the golden elixir. This is the literal pathway of enlightenment. This is the pathway of the golden elixir. This is the literal pathway of enlightenment. So Jing is the heaviest, densest of all energies. It is finite, and it corresponds to the planet itself. So the soma, if you think of something like somatic, the soma is our body plus our environment. This is the key factor of the no separation. How does it matter? How does this diagram matter? What makes you think I don't go to the doctor, Chaos Gremlin? I came up with this while I was having aggressive cancer treatment, 6 months of chemo, 30 rounds of radiation, by myself, recovering from a stroke, under the care of a psychiatrist and psychologist as well. This is based on cardiology. And very specifically, life support. No, why do you say that? Dudiddy, would you like the 300 pages? Do you want to, I would love to send it to you. You can check my work. You have to be able to speak several languages though, mostly Latin. Good, give me your, shoot me an email. You never felt better than you were taking TCM, like actual medicinal invasive Chinese medicine, which I don't practice. That's okay. I can block them. Duty danks. Block. Confirm. Block liberally, friends. Oh, and I would love to share with you, because I have written algorithms before and I've seeded neural networks and I know how they work. Block accounts. Just block them. If you say you're not interested, you're teaching Chad. Chad is the machine, okay? Chad's dumb. If you block accounts, it'll eliminate those pathways and it kind of like disappears you. So like for my account, my FYP, there are zero, I never see a child on my FYP for years. I've just trained it not to show it to me. It's not either or, it's and or. Can I explain how the diagram works? This is your inner child. This diagram works like a interface. So what it does is it charts and plots through a narration of events the process of birth, pregnancy, growth, decay, existing, having babies, everything. All of it. These pathways correspond to our connective tissue, and these 6 entities correspond to, practically they correspond to what are called the extraordinary organs. So these organs, your liver, your heart, these are regular ordinary organs. These are yin organs. Extraordinary is neither yin nor yang. So like our blood vessels are extraordinary because some of them take blood away from the heart and some of them bring blood to the heart. Our brain is an extraordinary organ. It's contemplated as the sea of marrow, the sea of bone marrow. Bone marrow, our marrow is extraordinary. That's where we get our blood cells, right? Bones, uterus, and gallbladder. The inner child, in my experience, benefits by default in any contemplation of resonance, alchemy, and like, the way I understand it, or the way I experience it, my inner child is shame, equals shame. Lots of shame. Lots of also not being recognized as like a flippin' autistic human. If you're not allergic to bone broth and it's not rotten, yeah, why not? I don't give medical advice. I give alchemy advice. Bone broth would connect you to the marrow experience, though, wouldn't it? I'm so sorry that you can't comment. What else are people asking? Let's see. Healing the child. Yeah, it's and or. Also, as above, as below, as though. As though is the Shen factor in all of Taoism. As though is as above. I am above what I'm looking at, just the interface. As below, it's above me. As though, it's in front of me. As though, do you see how as though creates a block? So as though, that is this zone in our bodies. It's called the coronal axis of the brain. It's the one that divides the front and back of us, that used to show the bottom and the top when we were on all fours, but now we walk on two legs. So as above, as below, as though. As though is actively practicing or actively questioning, actively, curiously contemplating, what would it be like if? What if this was? How does this other entity, or how would you experience this other thing? Just to ask these questions. These are design questions. From transmutation, people eat eggs. That freaks you out. Well, people in the US aren't eating many eggs right now, are we? You can look at your top to bottom as a vortex up and down. I want to know I want to understand that. The vortex factor in this system is not something that one seeks, at least as I have been experiencing it. Vortices are more a factor of spin, right? Like the way that water spins in different directions, and the hurricanes and cyclones. So above the equator, storms go in one direction, and below the equator, they go in another direction. In your body, this is the equator. It's called the belt meridian. It corresponds to the transverse, to the ground. Yep. I'm gonna go get my spanakopita. I'll be right back. Kitties, you're so pretty. my cats say hello. We start at the top and go to the bottom for health. No, we start at the bottom and go to the top. We start with Jing. We start, and this is accurate, got a bug, everywhere, 100,000%. All of this depends on where Earth is, and Earth is gravity. So if the alchemy is external, then we need to place it based on the 4 cardinal directions, and that's why we have the Bagua and Feng Shui. On the inside, we place it based on the dynamic relationship between all of this. And this is much more complex. The kidneys are associated with, from an organ perspective, the kidneys are contemplated as yin because they're full all the time. Yang is an organ that empties and fills, like our bladder. The bladder that, you know, then you urinate. And these pairings of organs, what they do, the yin, the Shen live in the yin organs, and then the yang organs are like the auto magic, they're like doing whatever. When acupuncturists are doing actual acupuncture, they're communicating with the Shen. They contemplate the Shen. Looking at the picture, it does look like a fetus, absolutely, very much so. I have renderings of this as pregnancy, yeah. Good catch. So the kidneys, that Jing energy, Jing, that's the energy of life. Or I should say, is it the energy of sentience? No, it's potential energy. It's potentially sentient energy. But it is finite. So it is how many trees are planted. It is the life expectancy of a human. We are mortals. Jing is, if you experience any kind of like, if you were born with a neurodivergency like autism or ADHD, or you had a traumatic birth experience, any kind of response to maternal stress during pregnancy is going to show up as an affect, as a factor of Jing. From an alchemy perspective, this is a no-go zone. No. Unless we're messing with life force energy directly. That is your business, mother. Okay? Yours. Not mine. The second kind of energy is chi. Chi, ki, prana. This is the if you've ever heard of energy from any system from Asia, that it, in Taoism, it's Qi or Ki, Ki. Qi corresponds to the fire element, okay, and the state of matter that is gas. So Jing is solid, Qi is gas. Shen, this third kind of energy, is liquid. So this is the water element in the body, is at the head, not the base. And as water, this element of water is can the seasons affect this? Yeah, absolutely. Water corresponds to the psychic realm. And it corresponds to Shen as the spirit itself, right? So if you believe in a soul, Shen. I believe in gravity, Shen. The seasons, each of these is associated with a season and a direction and a flavor, and that is in the free stuff. And if you have 30 bucks to blow, get the library. Like, just going to a regular yoga class with me, when I used to teach in studios before the pandemic, is like 20 bucks. You get a whole library for 30. And several copies and variations of this. All the free stuff presents this plain and with all the poetry translated from Chinese. There's poetry here. This is like a whole, like, you can turn it into so many things. And the wonderful thing about Shen is because they exist in superposition, from a physics perspective, they exist in all states at all times, unless and until they are called to do, they're just going to help. Oh, will you be back? I will be here. I'm going to be here as long as I can. If I was feeling better, I'd be on YouTube right now as well, but I'm not getting out of bed today. I only slept a few hours last night. My bed, friends, is 2 feet of memory foam, giant nest of like a love sack. I need the nest experience. I'm like sinking to the ground in memory foam. How do I manifest this into 3D? Make it art. Do a movement. Write something down. Make a noise. I love that you asked that question. Having an analog factor helps so very much. Manifesting into 3D would mean taking it out of the computer and putting it into my actual physical environment. This is 3D. The computer is no D, or 2 dimensions. There's absolutely no dimension in a computer. All of it is a trick, right? Because all we really can interface with is the screen. So the neidan too is an interface. It's also contemplated as interface in that sometimes it's translated as a warp, as though you are weaving. Okay, because here's the weaver. That is the action. The action is weaving, sewing, not cutting up. You're detoxing. Yes. I don't know what you do plasma means. Is anybody else here, like, all I do, giving plasma? Okay, so when I'm contemplating plasma, I'm contemplating it as the 4th state of matter, something that we can perceive. So plasma includes stars, lightning, television, retina displays. Plasma is a factor in, like, neon lights. And there are several different kinds of plasma in physics as they relate to these entities. Yin and yang represent a form of plasma called magnetic plasma, magnetism. You're welcome. The Oxherd, and this is my mapping, by the way. Somebody else could have a different one. The Oxherd represents relativistic plasma. The Weaver is ions, weak and strong bonds. The Child is radiative plasma, radioactive plasma, the sun, the stars, fishing with the stars. Buddha here is a form of plasma called dusty plasma. It's the most complex plasma. Dusty takes the Buddha all the way into nirvana. which is where Buddhas are going. Then Lao Tzu here at the very top represents something called degenerate plasma, which I guess plasma states, oh, I would love to have your husband be willing to read 300 pages. Plasma, degenerate plasma becomes solid again. Right, so degenerate plasma goes from not being so bound by gravity to being bound to gravity. So just these entities alone as representations of increasingly complex states also maps to and is in alignment with neidan, with the yoga and the alchemy that informs this, that you would have to have direct access to. The Taoist, sure, you can mantra, absolutely. My mantra is no shadow, only Shen. So anytime I think shadow, I go, oh, nope, Shen. If Tion is the definition, Shen is the experience. And so you and I can have very different experiences. Retired. This is, I go by Zitterbard Escher Bach, unironically. It's a play on Douglas Hofstadter. He's a physicist. I have had a crush on him as a scientist since I was a child. He turned me into a computer scientist when I was a teenager. I have a big brain. But yeah, this is but it's simple, okay? I'm excited. I'm a little bit agitated today, friends, because of the whole like Trump 2.0 too. This is very good spanakopita. I got rid of my microwave years ago, so I have to wait to eat, but that's okay. So Jing, Qi, Shen. Shen is the spirit. So our Shen exists, the Shen of a human, the Shen of the Shen of the Shen of you and me, like our personal, the one, it resides like, what's the word? Invisibly in the Crystal Palace, which is also, what the fuck is a Crystal Palace? It's actually the structure in the brain that generates and governs the flow of cerebral spinal fluid, or it's the inner ears. I haven't been able to figure that out. Our Shen align more to Kami from Japan. I don't know if how they would align to prana beyond being archetypes of prana, but each Shen itself embodies Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. But it can operate those three ways. Increasing, decreasing, sustaining, right? Water, fire, earth. All of this comes from Southeast Asia. All of it started in India. This fellow here, in my teachings, is the Buddha Padmasambhava, who founded Tibetan Buddhism in the 9th century, because I used to be friends with the Tibetan Lama who taught it to me. Not like formally. I just say yes anytime teachers invite me to tea. Yes, please. Yeah. Trump 2.0, motherfucker. That's why I'm saying just block accounts. I blocked all of the major news media. I mean, if somebody's just like, bah, and like all they are doing is telling me all the terrible, I block the accounts because I need to like recover from some of these little news flashes, right? I don't need 10 or 15 variations of headlines assaulting me daily. Oh my goodness. I feel so much better. I put some of the that like silver stuff in my windows so that they would stay warm because we have like single digit numbers right now in Western PA, and I have my heat down to like 63 or something, and I'm just in my big nest with all my blankets and my electric blanket and my cats, and it's like the best day ever, except for the part where the world is falling apart. Hi. Oh my goodness. Is that Darla? Should we say hi to the people? Come meet my kitties. This is Darla. She's a pretty girl. Hi. She picked me. She sleeps on my face and purrs on my mastectomy scar at least once a day. Little rascals. Aren't you pretty? You are so pretty. Hi. And then Norman is grooming. Norman, say hello to the humans. This is Norman. Okay, well, he's harder to perceive. What reminds you of the little rascals? Yep. Okay. Do you see how these are all pointed away from you? That indicates that they're working. Darla. Everybody loves Darla. She used to help me. I need to do her nails. Beep boop boop boops. Probably beep boops. She's not letting me do her nails. Oh, your ears are... Anyway. She's so pretty. Miss Darla. Such a pretty girl. I mentioned at the beginning of this, I took TikTok off my phone, not thinking that I didn't think through to not being able to re-download it. So we're on my iPad, and I don't have like a way to just have it be still. I'm going to come back with some singing bowls and healing sounds like music, either later today or tomorrow. What if the gallbladder was removed? Then we're going to hang out with the liver anyway. The removal of the gallbladder is such a strange thing. I know a whole bunch of people who have lost their gallbladder, tone the liver. The energy body is always intact. And meaning like when I go and receive treatment for cancer, I am missing 21 lymph nodes, a breast, like a whole bunch of shit. But because it has bilateral symmetry energetically, my acupuncturist was able to treat my right side through my left, and now I'm able to have a balanced experience right to left in the acupuncture. It's really cool. So that's another thing I love about the Shen. Okay, there are actual like processes, but we don't need to know what they are. Just invoke the Shen. And invoke the Shen, not like you better go do something for me. Invoke the Shen. Oh my goodness, I'm feeling afraid. I'm gonna and then there's Po. These work really great as like a daily couple of minutes, brushing your teeth level kind of thing. And what I've noticed is it becomes a habit. Not necessarily that I have like a direct thought of I'm having this feeling that goes with that, or bleh, but more that I notice something and my response is to exhale in some way, making some kind of a sound. Even that. Pardon me. That exhale, the exhale gets us down into the lower zones here, down towards gravity. Energy moves. The energy moves. Where the attention goes, the energy flows. Something that's really amazing about this is shame finds a way out. It finds a way out on its own. And even if it doesn't find a way all the way out, it has doorways. It has windows and doors to leave. The law of Taoism is the Tao that can be named is not the Tao. So Shen operate like they're like a secret code. It's a code word for all this other stuff. How cool is that? And then you can just make it up. I have a Shen for like proprioception, very much. You can teach this to your children. Absolutely. You could turn these 5 characters into the main characters of Kung Fu Panda. You can turn them into animals. You can turn them into anything you want. Just have them be aligned and consistent. That is why I love this approach. Because it's like, if you, like me, enjoy a pattern, you learn the pattern, not necessarily the things in the boxes. It's like having, like, I contemplate it like the Phantom Toll Booth, or like being able to like touch something and then have like some cosmic thing occur, you know, who knows what. I just think of it like that. I just went into the astrosphere. Should you focus on one at a day? I would say go through the whole thing. This is the order. And then you can pick them up and pick and choose and do it like your animals. You can make things up too. So like, let's say for my cancer, I had a whole sound just for my cancer. I made it up. It was the cancer sound. And that's what I did during treatment. Your favorite kids book? What's your favorite kids book? I want to know. I'm fascinated to know. That sounds fun. Phantom toll booth. Phantom toll booth. Heartbridge. Or also Wrinkle in Time. Those are like two pieces of media that I associate with the child on the Star Bridge, or like the lived experience of that child. Very good. Katie's feeling better. I ate. Millennial born in 89. Gen X born in 69. 1969. You're welcome. Big sigh. I'm gonna jump off because it's becoming there's too much gravity in this equation right now for me. Too much. And I am going back to horizontal. I am very informative. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and thank you for being here. Truly. I shall return. Let me get away from the thing in case you want a screenshot. Live long and prosper. No shadow, only Shen. Whatever that means. I'll see ya. Bye.